Lion Nation. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings tonight for Prattville Baseball Spirit Night. Kicking off our senior celebration here as we wrap up the 2023 season. I have head coach Roger Lambert here with me and head coach Kevin Hall sitting here. We're going to talk a little bit about the 2023 season. But first, just talking about these seniors and tomorrow night as we move into the final weekend of the regular season. It's going to be a very special night at Roger Lambert Field. Everybody please come out if you can and join us. It's going to start out with a dedication. Coach Rocky Minor and the indoor facility, a man who's a legend and done so much for Prattville baseball. Coach Lambert, if you just talk a little bit about Coach Minor and how we got here and this dedication of the indoor facility.
I tell you, Coach Minor has meant a lot to Prattville baseball. He started in 1985, and he gave 21 years of his life to the kids and the program. And anyone who's ever been around him knows how meticulous he is with details, lining the field off. We lined the field off today, and he said, "Man, I'm excited, just like I was the first day." And he was there when I got there, and he and I became just super close friends. And you know, Coach Hall has allowed us both to come back as volunteer coaches, and so we've been doing that. And he and I talk all the time. You know, it's just as much fun now as it was that first day we set foot there. And the kids and the facilities just mean so much to him.
And Coach Minor is still working with Coach Lambert. Coach Hall, you brought them back, and they've worked with the younger guys over the last couple of years. Just talk a little bit about, again, what they brought to the program, and Coach Minor coming back with Coach Lambert and what that's meant to Prattville baseball over the last few years.
It's meant a lot. I remember it's probably been a decade ago. We were talking, and he said if he ever gets a chance to come back and coach, he would, and I'd be dang. I think he finished up at EMCA. And next year you were over on board with us, and it's meant a lot. The knowledge and the wisdom and all the things that come with them two guys, somewhere around 60 years of experience. So that goes a long ways.
So Coach Lambert, as everyone knows, Roger Lambert Field up there at Prattville High School. Tomorrow night we will officially dedicate the indoor facility to Coach Rocky Minor. It's going to be a special event. Please come out. We'll start that right before game one, so join in that celebration. I can't think of a better way to kick off our last couple games of area play, Coach Hall. And now the next part is we're talking about these seniors. We're starting that celebration tonight, senior night tomorrow night as we complete area play. Just talk a little bit about this senior class. We know all of them have different characteristics, and they all take on a personality. Just talk a little bit about this 2023 group.
Yeah, they're different in ways, but a lot like the other groups. Things wasn't going very well early in the season, but the guys, they just kept at it, and it's like we told them better days are ahead. I know we can't be too impatient with it, but I think we spoke before the season even started about we would get better as we go, and I think we're still not playing 100%, but if we ever do, it's going to be pretty fun to watch.
We've really seen this group really grow. You had one returning everyday starter, so every coach knows that that's going to bring certain challenges when you're starting a lot of new guys and they're in new situations, especially 7A baseball in the state of Alabama. And we have seen a lot of growth over the course of the season. The defense has certainly really come on, I would say, from about the midpoint. The starting pitching has really come on as well. Just talk a little bit about that evolution and growth from game one, watching these guys grow up, because they're all veterans now, right? You get to this point in the season, all those juniors that were getting starts, now they're veterans. Just talk a little bit about that and how they've come along and what you've seen there.
I believe this group had to figure their way through it, which is tough to do at the 7A level, especially because you see in college talent week in, week out. But for them to figure their way through it has been the biggest, I guess, puts the biggest smile on my face, because they very easily could have just shut the door and been done. But over the last few weeks, it's like we tell them there's 3 phases to the game. Right now we're playing 2 of those pretty well, what if we could get the third one going.
That's right.
So.
Starting pitching, I know we've got 4 to 5 starters, I would say right now. We're comfortable running out based on the situation and the scenario and where we are in the rotation. Talk a little bit about your starting pitching and really kind of how that's come along and helped get us in a spot. Playing great defense now behind those pitchers. Just talk a little bit about those guys in the rotation as we head into the end of the season and the playoffs.
I know we were in a little funk on the mound, probably during the Hoover tournament, where things got kind of sketchy at times. But the guys kind of, settled down, bore in, and then when the game started to really count, I think you're seeing the best of them. I don't know if it's the pressure side that makes you focus a little harder, but they are definitely focused on the mound right now. And when you got good defense behind you, you don't have to strike everybody out. So we're not trying to strike everybody out. We just want people to put it in play, let's get you out, and then before you know it, it's the 7th inning.
Coach Lambert, you're known for offense, and that's the third phase of the game that Coach Hall was talking about. And if we could find a way to really wake that offense up here as we head potentially into the playoffs, just so we know as we sit here right now, we're here at a Prattville baseball event, and we are all huge fans of the Enterprise Wildcats as they're facing off against Dothan. So all our eyes are down in South Alabama right now. If Enterprise was to pull off a win, that would give the Prattville Lions a chance tomorrow night to lock up their second area championship in a row. So got a lot going here this week. But talking back about the offense and an offensive guru, what do we do to potentially wake this offense up here at this late stage of the season as we head into the playoffs?
I don't know about being a guru. I will say the game has changed so much because of the bats. I can still remember coaches in the playoffs, their team would ask, okay, Coach, when they were playing us, what do we do if they bunt? He said, don't worry, Coach Lambert doesn't bunt. And it was true, but the bats were different. So the game was different. The game has changed so much, like I say, due to the bats. Our kids are working extremely hard. Our coaches, Coach Hall and all the other coaches, they're working so hard with the kids to get them to understand the technique and the mechanics of hitting, which are so important with the bat change. And they've gotten better. We've had some really good swings lately. We've had a lot of balls go right to the opponent. But I see, as I've watched, as I say, our at-bats are getting better. Our understanding of what we're doing. And, I just think at any time that's going to, all of a sudden the offense is going to be there, and what a great time for that to happen. What a great time, going into the season, I told Coach Hall, I said, we've got some good arms. We really have some good arms, and if they can pitch well and the kids can learn to play defense, and as he just said, if that offensive side comes, but you've been at the games, all the fans have been at games. Surely you have seen some great at-bats of late. Since we got into region ball, we've had some really good at-bats, not a lot to show for it, but we've had some good at-bats, and I think it's, I think it's still coming, and this is a great time for it to happen.
Definitely is. Be timely. A lot of base runners. We're not having trouble putting runners on base, and Coach Hall, we've seen you this year. Going back to 2022, it was very easy to draw a lineup up. If you had to draw up a prototypical leadoff and a 3-hole and a 4-hole and a 5-hole that could protect all the way through, it was easy math. And I know that made life easy for you. This 2023 team's built a little bit differently, and we've seen you make moves throughout the year trying to kind of find that right combination, and maybe even a little bit of small ball even lately, maybe taking away potentially some big innings, but getting the runners into scoring position. Just talk a little bit about some of that side of it, just trying to pull the pieces together.
We started this season charting all our BP swings, so we kind of saw where we needed, some help in some different phases. Through the course of the year, the toughest part's making a lineup. It's really tough to put it. You refer to the 2022 where people could protect each other, but I think these kids are learning to complement the guy in front of them and behind them by what they do offensively, especially here of late. And that's what we keep talking about is complement the guy in front of you and behind you. If you guys are on the same page, then we can score some runs.
Move the line, right? So as we head into the playoffs, just what are your thoughts for this group? I know this season's been different, but as we sit here and the way high school baseball is structured, area play, that's what matters. And if you look at it, this team potentially tomorrow could end up 7-1, potentially be area champions. That 2022 team that lost, I think, 5 or 6 ball games all season, they were 7-1 at this point in the season in area play. That's all that matters. So the end result, we're getting down to the same. Just talk a little bit about this group as we head into the playoffs and what will be some keys moving into the future.
I think the keys is to keep moving offensively, but every year you try to figure out there's a formula to it all where you don't peak too soon or you peak early. I think last year we peaked right at the end of spring break, and we kind of tailored off the rest of the season. But this year we're starting to pick up steam going into the postseason, which is the formula you hope you can figure out. And I hope these guys do figure it out because it could be pretty fun.
Coach Lambert, looking at the young guys, looking at the future here as we start to wind down the 2023 season. You coached the 26s, and now you're with them on JV. Just talk a little bit about their season and what Prattville Lions baseball fans have to look forward to as far as the future.
Well, I think the same scenario Coach Hall said. We struggled immensely early, and then they came on and won 5 out of 6 at the end. Played really well. Went down to Enterprise. Friday was a week ago, or Thursday was a week ago, and split with them. And early in the year, they came to our place and pretty much handed it to us. I mean, that's the only way we can say it. But we went down there and took care of business. They had only lost 1 game, so that is an indication. And their coach said, "Coach, I just can't believe this is the same team we played in Prattville." So, they're growing. Their numbers are not great in the 10th grade. We've only got 9 total, and 1 has been a starter for the varsity. So the important thing is we've got to keep them together. We've got to keep them together, and I think their confidence was growing as the year went along, and they started to realize that winning makes it a lot more fun. And so we, like I said, winning 5 out of the last 6, that I hope is going to be a stepping stone to the future.
We do as well. I thank both of you gentlemen for your time here tonight. We appreciate you coming out and talking to Lion Nation here as we start to wrap this 2023 season up. And we'll be right back with some player interviews, so hang with us. More to come here from Buffalo Wild Wings and Senior Spirit Night. Come back and join us. back, Lion Nation, at Buffalo Wild Wings Senior Spirit Night here for Prattville Lions baseball, and I've got 3 of those 2023 seniors that we're talking about and starting to celebrate this group starting tonight and through tomorrow night as we talked about. I have Clayton Smith here, outfielder, catcher, and we have Drew Jolly, a shortstop and pitcher, and Tanner Vance, a middle infielder and outfielder. Sit here and talk about the 2023 season. Guys, we talked a little bit with the coaches just about the evolution of this program throughout this season, how the team has grown. Again, starting out with a young group and everybody's veterans by the time you get to the end of the season. Just talk a little bit. Let's first start with pitching, Drew. You're on the mound. You're one of those starters. Talk about the evolution of this pitching rotations from game 1 until today, what we're seeing now.
Well, obviously we've seen them grow up a lot. You have a lot of we've pounded the zone. I think that's been a big change for us. Zach, me, Andrew, Grant Williams, Will Baskins have all been really we've pounded the zone, and when you put pressure on hitters, the whole game changes, and then the defense behind us has really changed the whole way we've been playing. A lot of credit for my no-hitter was to the defense and the great plays that I had from Zach and Mason and Tanner and all the plays that we had behind us, and I think the defense has really helped the pitching grow really confident in our group. And then hopefully we can get some run support for the great pitching that we got. But I think it'll continue because we got guys that are really maturing and got really good stuff, and I'm really excited.
We've had guys, several complete games going back to Hoover. I think from this pitching staff we had 2 in Hoover, and we've been lights out. We've seen in the last 2 area series with starts, I believe going back and looking at some numbers, we'd given up 5 runs or 4 runs in 5 baseball games, going back to the defense. You guys talk a little bit just about the defense and how that's really changed and evolved here throughout the season.
Our defense has been great this past 2 weeks. Beginning, we were a little hectic trying to figure out where everybody is, but I think now we have different rotations for different guys coming in to pitch, and I think it's been working really good. We have not gave up a lot of errors, and that's really good. But it's just been phenomenal. Defense has been great.
And then from an offense standpoint, we were talking about offensive production and how important that's going to be, getting that third phase of the game going. Clayton, we've seen you move around the lineup as we were talking about, as the coaches tried to piece things together and just find that unit that worked well together, and you've produced in every single part of the lineup you've been in throughout the season. You were actually our strikeout leader as far as very low strikeout percentage, so on the good side, not to the bad side. Just talk about hitting and your approach as you've moved to different parts of the lineup throughout the season and kind of how that's changed, and just your thoughts at the plate.
I think just anytime I'm in the lineup, my main goal is to do a job, get somebody in, regardless of where I am in the lineup. I mean, if I'm in the meat of the lineup, which is probably your 3 to 5, I'm probably going gap to gap. But if I'm hitting in the 9 or 6, 7, 8, anything like that, I'm just trying to get on base, just get a hole, find somewhere. And I think that our hitting's really coming around right now. And we're starting to put a whole lot more balls in play compared to the beginning of the season. And I think if we can just get that one hit, I think it'll be over. I think we'll be able to connect with a lot more.
Hitting is so much about momentum and just that energy and just that it brings that confidence. Tanner, you've been lead off all season. You're leading the team in multiple offensive categories. You've done a great job at the plate as a leadoff. Just talk about your approach, batting into one spot. I know those other coaches are wanting to stay in on your hands. I think you've been hit somewhere around 15 times this season, but just talk about your thought process and your approach as the leadoff for this team this season.
Leadoff is a very important role. You're trying to get on base by any means. It doesn't matter any game. Whether it's bunting, hitting, anything, getting hit, it really brings the momentum to the game and how you're starting. So I just try to get on base no matter anything. So.
Well, We're talking today. I don't know if we have a score update. Again, we're Enterprise Wildcats fans here as we celebrate Prattville Lions tonight, and it's 4-1 still Enterprise, and we're in the 6th inning, it sounds like. So that's very good news for the Prattville Lions. With that win, these guys and the rest of this team would have to still got work to do. Got to win that first game tomorrow night. But if so, you could repeat as area champs, which is really an impressive feat, because you're sitting right where that 22 team was last year, potentially being 7-1 in area and repeating as area champions. Talk a little bit about that, Drew. That 22 team and this team this year particularly. What's different? What's unique about this 2023 team? What are you going to remember most about this group?
Well, I think it was a big learning curve at the beginning of the year. The 22 group that played baseball together for the rest of their lives, so stepping on a field wasn't anything new. And this group, a lot of us haven't played together. We've had Zach move in. We've had me, be an addition to the group, and Tanner and Clayton. So I think just learning how to play with each other and the chemistry has just gotten a whole lot better. And I think that's what you see with the defensive play. And then, we've gotten really close. And then pitching this year has been a really strong suit of ours. I think even a little bit better than last year. It's crazy to say. But we got talent. We're putting things together, and we're learning how to win baseball games. And I think that will continue in the playoffs.
Tanner, same question to you. And talking about the defense, you're a middle infielder, and we've seen a lot of double plays. The entire infield's played extremely well. Young guys, but we've seen a lot. I would say more double plays even than last year. Just talk about that defense and what's unique about this 2023 team and what you'll remember most about this group.
Just the pitching, go off with that too. Pitchers been doing their job, so it really helps the defense out. We've been making plays. Double plays are very important to make in area games, and it's going to be important to make in playoffs. So it's really good to see. And Mason making good plays, Drew making great plays at shortstop. It's all coming together, and we've been able to make the plays and back up our pitchers.
Clayton, I'm going to throw it to you. Same question. What are you going to remember most about this 2023 group?
Probably, it's almost not even anything about baseball. If you looked at the team in January to now, it's a completely different team, just judging off of like the chemistry. Beginning of the season, it was just a bunch of dudes on its field, and now it feels more like a team. And if one guy messes up, you got 8 guys picking him up, if not more, coming off the bench, and that's just something that is really appreciated. And that's probably my favorite thing about this team right now.
Potentially headed into the first round of the playoffs. Again, the score now is 4-2. Dothan's picked up a run as we keep our eye on that. But potentially, we're headed into the playoffs. What's the playoff outlook, Tanner? What are your thoughts as we start to look at that now, as we know that that's a strong possibility, potentially even a home field advantage here in a week?
I say we still look at it the same. Still pitch great. Still get defense doing great behind the pitchers. We just have to pick up that one run, like Drew said earlier. Just got to start hitting the ball. What Clayton said, we just got to start hitting the ball and bring in runners when they need to be.
Drew, keys to success for a 2023 playoff run.
I think approaching it the same way as we had the other games. I think last year playoffs, it was a little bit new for the group, and this year we got to learn to approach it the same way, and it's the same game. We got to continue to work in the cage, and then we got the pitching and defense got to continue to produce and not give up a ton of runs. And I think this team's got a really good shot, no matter who we play, whether it's Baker or Mary Montgomery. So I'm excited about it. I think this team's got a good chance to make a run.
So here's as we wrap it up, let's just talk a little bit about what's next for you guys. We talked some at the start of the season, just talking about what everybody's plans were. So just let's work around the table. Clayton, what are you thinking about doing next here as we start to end this baseball season?
Win.
Win.
But no, after high school, I'm planning on going to Southern Union and doing a dual enrollment with Auburn as well, and living in Auburn and studying cybersecurity, and then maybe after my 4 years going into the military.
Drew?
Same as at the beginning of the year. I'm signed to play baseball at Chat Valley. I'm gonna go there for 2 years and then hopefully continue at a 4-year school. and then I want to be an optometrist, so pre-optometry, all the school that comes with that, but that's my plan.
And Tanner, how about you here as you start to look towards your future and senior year and prom and all that wrapping up here in the next few weeks?
I did get an offer.
Breaking news. We baited him into it.
2 weeks ago. Looking to hopefully sign and commit soon. So I really like it up there. It's nice. I enjoy it. So
Well, congratulations on that, and to all of you as you move into your future. And baseball's gonna end one day for everybody. Those college plans and what you do and making those grades, that's what's gonna pay the bills down the line, right? And you're gonna have great memories, as you guys have talked about, just of this baseball team. And the story is not completed. You guys continue to write it, and we're all pulling for you guys. Can't wait to see what you do here over the next couple weeks. Best of luck to you, and thank you for everything you've done to this point.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back, Lion Nation, with another round of player interviews. Come right back. Welcome back, Lion Nation. Senior Spirit Night here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Got another group of ball players here that we're going to talk to. We got senior Braden Smith, pitcher. We got junior Parker Dick catching, and junior Zach Irby here with us, pitcher, third baseman. So we're going to talk a little bit about this 2023 class with Braden, representing that senior leadership and that group we've been talking about. And we'll talk a little bit about the future as you guys have another season here with Prattville baseball and just your thoughts on this team. So starting with you, Braden, just your thoughts on this 2023 group and this team in particular. What are you going to remember most about this group?
It's been a good year. See, we've been through a lot this year, and the beginning of the season we weren't doing so hot. Had a lot of errors. Couldn't hit the ball. But after the spring break, we started playing really good defense. But offense is something we don't have to need during the playoffs. So.
What's your mindset coming in relief? As you're part of that pitching rotation and just coming in as a reliever and being in those spots. Kind of, how do you prep for that? What's your mindset, especially as we head into the final bit of area play and playoffs? Just how do you prep to get in spots like that?
In my mind, I just think throw gas and just get ground balls.
I like that approach. For sure. And Zach, you've transitioned here into Prattville. You didn't grow up in this area, and now you've been here for about a year. Talk a little bit about transitioning into Prattville baseball and joining this team, and talk about this particular group a little bit.
When I got here, it was pretty. The guys were extremely welcoming. I got here and they got me a locker real quick and fit in real nice. Bunch of a good group of leaders. They were able to guide me through things that I didn't understand, like drill series and
right.
But yeah, it's a good group of guys. Ready for the playoffs with them. So.
And talking about pitching, you're right there solidly in that starting rotation, and we've really seen you guys as a group really come on and do great things. And you started game one for us here in this season and been very productive as a starting pitcher. Just talk a little bit about your approach and kind of what your pitch mix is and how you attack hitters.
So how I attack hitters. I'm a big strike. I just throw a lot of strikes usually. I'm high percentage strikes. They'll get ground balls a bunch, and usually try to keep the pitch count down. What was your first question? Sorry.
That was pretty much it. How are you attacking here? What's your out pitch?
My slider. Slider.
Slider?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. And Parker, you've been back here doing the heavy lifting, kind of the unappreciated sometimes center or offensive guard, if you will, with these guys going the distance, and you've really done a great job stepping in as your first year in varsity, catching. Just talk a little bit about this pitching and the evolution of this defense.
It's been good. I can really count on the pitchers to throw strikes and hit their spots, and it saves me a lot of time from blocking balls and this and that. And then our defense is probably one. We've come a long ways from the beginning of the year. Like all the double plays, like you said earlier, and then Drew at shortstop making plays in the 6-hole. It's been a pretty good year. And then the pitchers helped me out a lot, getting the ball to the plate fast so I can throw runners out.
Yeah, that's been a key. We've really seen that kind of come on. You throwing out runners, caught stealing. That's definitely picked up. We were seeing a lot of delayed steals earlier in the year, and a lot of that seems to be disappearing because you're throwing them out. Just talk a little bit about that. How maybe what's being done different, or what's changed to kind of minimize the run game against this team a little bit.
I think it's our pitchers hold them on. Like at the beginning of the year, it felt like we were kind of scared to throw back to the bags and stuff, but as the times progressed, we've been picking off back and forth, keeping the runners on us. And then, like whenever, you can tell when somebody's going to steal, and they'll throw me a high fastball, and it really helps out a lot, and being quick to the plate.
Braden, talking about this baseball team, you were part of that that 2022 team last year that won the area championship, and now, as we've talked about, this group is right here at the same spot, potentially 7-1 to end the season, just like that team. And not a lot of people would have thought that at the beginning of this season, or even as it started as we moved into the first third. Talk a little bit about this team. What's different about this team than that 2022 team?
Last year we had a lot of home runs. This year they only have 2. That's
How about from a personality standpoint? How's this team different from a personality standpoint?
this year. I get along better with this group because we've come up together. Last year, I really didn't talk a lot last year because I don't know if I was scared. I just feel comfortable with everybody. But this year I've kind of opened up a lot and started talking a lot.
Waking up the offense, it's another thing that we've talked about. Zach, we've seen you pretty steadily in the middle of the lineup throughout this season, 4, 5, 6, particularly in the 4 here during area play. Talk a little bit about your mindset in the 4 spot and how this lineup is starting to kind of come together.
Yeah, during the season it was a bunch of different lineups, but I feel like the lineup we have now is pretty solid. Guys are always getting on for me. Our first 3 are usually got at least 1 or 2 guys on. I'm usually hitting in the first inning. Always trying to hit a guy in. That's really the biggest goal every time at the 4 hole. So.
Parker, same to you. What do we need to do here in this last third of the season? You know, we're starting to see glimpses to wake this offense up and help the defensive effort, which has just really become good here.
It seemed like at the beginning of the year we couldn't really hit the ball, but now as time progressed, as we've hit a lot more in practice and stuff and seen live pitching, I think it's helped us because everybody's putting the ball in play and we're finally starting to move runners from base to base and hitting behind them and scoring them.
So just to wrap it up, just talking about the future, Braden, you're one of the senior group that we're celebrating here tonight and into tomorrow night. What are your plans here?
I'm going to go to Southern Union for welding, and then after that, I'm going to go to Auburn, finish it out.
Congratulations on that. And 2 juniors, you guys have another year here with Prattville baseball. So the chapter isn't over here, but just talk a little bit about your thoughts into the future. And you got 1 more season. You'll be in this spot as seniors next year. What's your long-term outlook?
I think we're losing a lot of good guys and a lot of talent. Some of our best hitters and stuff. But I think we got a bunch of leaders on the junior group that we'll be able to win games next year as well. I think it'll be good.
A lot of experience coming back, different from this team. So many of you juniors had to take on some big important roles. You being certainly one of those, and you one of those as well. And you guys have stepped in magnificently. Talk a little bit about that, Parker. Just heading into next year and maybe what that'll look like. Just early thoughts, way too early thoughts on 2024.
I think next year will be pretty good because a bunch of the young guys can swing it pretty good. Like the freshman group that come up this year could swing it pretty good, and then we'll have a couple middle infielders that are coming up next year that are pretty jam up, and another catcher that can catch second game after me. So I think we'll be pretty decent next year.
Well, that's going to do it. We thank you for your time. And that's Enterprise. And is it a victory or are we in the 7th? All right, so Enterprise has gone up 5-4. The ball game was tied as we started this interview. It's why we took a little bit to come back. We were anxiously waiting to see what happened. So all eyes still down in Enterprise here as we continue to celebrate this group here tonight. Come out and join us at Roger Lambert Field tomorrow night as we talked about a very special night with the infield dedication to Roger Lambert, and we celebrate these seniors. Thank you for joining us here tonight, and if you can still come join us at Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll be out here for a while and celebrating this group. Thank you for your time. Go Lions.